Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libos.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
A little bit old for you.
With that deep into Danny Roll, please don't clip that.
Been truly horrific having this season away from home.
I want goals!
Anyone would think that we rehearse this, and I guarantee that we haven't.
How poor do we have to be before it's happening? How much blood from this stone do we have to get?
The Wednesday Week!
Hello and welcome to episode 430 of the Wednesday Week. Apologies for the technical glitch. Right, before we start, just want to say we at the podcast would like to extend our deepest condolences to the friends and family of Mark Townsend, the West Brom fan that sadly passed away at Hillsborough on Saturday. It truly is a sad day when a fellow football fan doesn't return home from watching the sport they love. So, there you go. As you can tell, it's not Dan Fudge's voice. It's me, Ash. You won't believe what's happened. We get nominated for an award, and Dan's man in Turkey just happens to have an awards package on offer. So he's jetted off to Turkey for a bit of sun and a bit of work on his fantastic smile in his forehead. So unfortunately, you've got me tonight, and I'm joined by Charlie, Holly, and Stevie will be here, but is running a bit late. So good evening, ladies. How are we?
I'm brilliant. Obviously, I've been mentioning for absolutely ages that I wanted this very pink shirt, and here I am. Finally got one, thanks to Tom Burton. Calling those Wednesday retro shirts. Big love. I've got the pink one now, so. Ash, obviously, you didn't get the memo on wearing the uniform today.
Well, we should say that. Obviously, I mean, well, I could do this, you know. It is. I'll let you know. It is a medium, so I don't think I was even born medium. So I don't think I'll try and get that on. And no one wants to see all of Ash, especially not on a stream. So, Charlie, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just coming down from a crazy weekend. I was saying I had to sort of actually recap what happened in the match because my main takeaway from it was just quite a lot of screaming. And actually, we've got to discuss the finer points of the match now. So I've had to sort of process what I've seen.
Yeah, you know that meme where it's like, I just love the drama of it all.
That's exactly it. I was just experiencing it viscerally like the whole time. You just actually remember it.
Taking it all in.
Yeah.
Take it all in. So, yeah, we welcome West Brom. He's here. He's here, look. Steve is here. We welcome West Brom to S6 on Saturday. Obviously, the top of the table leaders, they were coming to Sheffield where we were unjustly, I don't know what the word is. Only had 1 point out of the last two games, which we all know. We spoke about it for a while about the refereeing decisions. So, Holly, I'll start with how are you feeling? I mean, we put the predictions out, don't we? I put the predictions out. We all have a go. We're all great at it. Obviously,
I predicted that we would lose. I actually brought my prediction down to a reasonable 2-1 from what it originally was because they were top of the league. They've kept loads of clean sheets. They were unbeaten in the league as well. And do you know what the worst part about it was? I actually read the predictions out and I went, hey, Charlie's predicted a win. What an idiot. Charlie's predicted a win and she has got no idea about football. What do women know about football?
Women know no. Women know no.
We're not having none of that when Dan's not here. Come on. We can't know it. Yeah. Quickly, Charlie, what were going through your mind? Because obviously you were the only one out of the podcasters that picked to win.
I didn't. I always pick us to win because I can't bear to say I think we're going to lose. I think the best I'll ever give you is like a draw. And the thing is you can either, if we don't win, I could just be like, well, I'm just a positive person. And then if we do win, I could be like, I told you we were all going to win and look like a genius. So it's basically a foolproof plan. But no, I didn't think we'd score a goal necessarily. So I was definitely being wildly optimistic.
Stevie, welcome to the party. How are we doing, son? You all right? I know you've had a bit of a mad day today, but hopefully we can be your therapy today.
What have I missed?
Nothing. No, we just started. We just started, mate.
I know. We're talking football. Can I vent about the last hour of my life? It's just been absolutely bonkers. Who closes the road and don't tell anyone the road's closed? And I've been stuck at reading Year 6 parents' evening, open evening, whatever evening, soaking wet through. The only time I've been outside today, I've been rained on. I'm fuming. 1 minute away, I had a suit on. I've got nothing on now.
It could have been like the FA Cup final. You can wear it.
Yeah, you didn't tell it was the Spice Boy white suit that he's been twerking. You haven't missed it. You missed a technical hitch by myself, which I do apologise everyone for. That's why we were slightly late. So you didn't miss anything, mate. So
that's all right then. That's all right. And without headphones tonight as well because they don't work. So
yeah, welcome to a professional outfit like the Wednesday.
Award nominated.
Right, we'll get into it. So, like I said, West Brom. We had the predictions. Obviously, Charlie is the only one. I know we've got a private podcast prediction league. And I know Steve is well ahead with that, but Charlie's...
well, on that, so I was just going to predict 2-0 until it was 2-0 to us, right? And I thought, that's right. Then Stevie got one right, and he was really smug. And so this week, I was like, no, that's it. I'm taking it seriously.
I've got 2 right. I'm looking at the standings. Do you want to know the standings?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Bringing up the rear, we've got Dan and John with 4 points. Charlie, you've got 6.
Ooh.
Simon's done well. He's missed a week. Simon, Holly, and Ash have got 8,
Ooh.
and then just sneaking in front with 18.
One day there'll be a competition that me and Ash are good at. We're going to smoke you lot. We don't know what it is yet.
It doesn't involve score predictions. I'll tell you that.
I am 43 years old. I have not won anything or come anywhere near first round in the LMS every time, and with buy-ins first round after the buy. So, yeah, do not trust on my betting or anything. It's atrocious. Right, let's get the. So look at this. Look at this fancy graphic. Everyone on the listening obviously can't see this, but we've got a lovely fancy graphic for the starting lineup. So Beadle, Valerie, Palmer, Inekwe, Famewo is your defence. Johnson, Charles, Bannan, Kabatsky, Windass, and Ugbo. With Charles Valentin, Oktegbeo, Lowe, Ingleson, Gassama, Masaba, J. Lowe, and Smith on the bench. Stevie, I'll start with you. I know we had to. There was an enforced change, obviously with Deschamps Bernard's unlucky red card. Happy with the makeshift back, shall we say? Pre-game, obviously. This is initial reactions.
Yeah, I think based on results, performance. I think I said it a couple of weeks ago as well. Given the current results not going our way, or the previous results not going our way, whatever team we put out at the moment, I think he's kind of alluded to the fact that he doesn't know what his best starting lineup is. We've seen a shift back to that sort of back three that sort of served him well when we were sort of doubling down at the in the midst of that run that got us out of relegation last season. I was all right with that. I think it was necessary to change something. I have no issue with Johnson coming back in. I think, dare I say it, I think Max Lowe's had a little bit of. He's been quite maligned by certain sections of the fan base, and I understand why.
Steve, just on that, do you think that's because of who he played for, regardless of obviously he's coming into a new team, new manager, new way of playing, new teammates? Do you think he's just been unharshly targeted because of?
I think, yeah. I think that's there will be an element of that. I'm not sure how far that goes with the majority of the fan base. For me personally, I think the thing that's done him, in my opinion, for me, the thing that has made me go, oof, was the Leeds goal. Dan James just left him for dead. I know Dan James is the fastest player in the league, but it was night and day. And then there was the other one. Was it the QPR game when he's conceded the free kick that has resulted in them getting the equaliser late on? So he's not necessarily covered himself in glory, shall we say. And I think the fact that Marv's done so well for us over the last 3-4 years, he's naturally going to curry favour. You've got that sort of heroes. You're pulling for Marv, aren't you, to an extent, because he's had the Chisco sort of situation. He was with us down in League One. His missus is quite vocal on Twitter and stirs up little bits here and there. And he's Holly's favourite. So, for those reasons, there are certain elements of having Johnson in there. I think in a back three with a wing back, it's the formation that best serves Marvin Johnson, and it gives us that little bit of balance. And obviously, we'll get on to talking about the first goal. I'm a massive proponent for Palmer. You know that him coming in was spot on for me. I had no issue with that. So at sort of 2 o'clock, sorry, at 11:30, when the team came out, I was happy with it. There's nobody, in my opinion, that could have any arguments or complaints about being left out. And it was nice to see that he's kind of looked at it and gone, it's not quite right. Let's try and get something different in there.
Before we go off of the team as well, and I know you talked about it last week about the handball and the Bernard thing, right? When people get sent off for fouls and then you appeal it, a foul is always going to be like an opinion thing. So somebody will always see it as being a foul and someone will always see it not being a foul. The actual rule for handball is if it's above the shirt sleeve, it's not a handball. So when the ball's here, how can they uphold that as a red card? Like the picture of it's up here. So how can they keep that? That's not an opinion thing. The literal rule is if it's on skin, then it's a handball. And if it's up here, it isn't. So why would they keep that as a red card? I just thought that's
because that's actually objective, isn't it? Like it's like, do you remember the Bannan one when Bannan got sent off? Was it
Bristol City
yeah.
away, weren't it? Yeah.
And then they look back on it, and it's like you say, like they make the decision that it wasn't X, Y, and Z that they initially thought it was. With this one, you're basing off the fact that the ref saw what he thought was handball, but surely once you've slowed it down and had a look, it objectively must be seen to be correct. And it's like, it does make me wonder whether did we definitely get it investigated? Did we? Like, I don't know why we'd lie. It's just whether we were just like, oh, it's one game, and then all the fans wanted it, and we've said, oh, well, we asked them and they said no, but like,
well, I never thought of that, but like,
I don't know, like, it just seems, you're right. Like, why? How hard is it to see that it was not handball? There's just
I don't blame the ref. In real time, it probably did look like it was handball, but when they look back on it, if it's up here, which it definitely is,
should take it away.
They should take it off.
As Sharman says, newsflash, they're making it up as they go along, guys. Which is just seems
aren't we all?
Yeah, I'm hoping he's talking about the refs and not the podcast, because he knows as well.
If the cat fits.
The cat fits, yeah. Right, we'll get on to the start of the game. I've made comment before, privately and on here, about how we've started the first 10-15 minutes of a game, and it's been really positive. In probably, apart from the Sunderland game, even Millwall, that we've started really well, really looked the team that's been on top. And it wasn't different on Saturday. Charlie, how did you see the first 20 minutes? I mean, it was a totally different Sheffield Wednesday.
Unbelievable. We looked so comfortable on the ball. Like, it wasn't, I agree, it's like sometimes it's those first 10-15 minutes where we look lively and we look really light and it's spirited, and then it all kind of falls away. Whereas it didn't look like, it wasn't lively and spirited as much. It was controlled, it was steady. It wasn't, everyone breaking their necks just to run it. If anything, it was just clean and good, and some really good passing, some really, and it looked great. Like, you would not have looked at the two teams in that first bit and assumed that one was all the way at the top, one was all the way at the bottom. And I think everyone was really pleasantly surprised. And it did, I think probably like West Brom were a bit kind of, like, because they must have, to a certain extent, given like how well it's been going for them and how quite shit it had been sort of really going for us, that they could kind of take it a bit steady. And I think we came for a fight, and we totally dominated in that first half, 1000%.
I think West Brom, they played their second string midfield four. All their first choices were either on the bench or not available. And I think that they had a young lad in midfield making his debut. And I think that might have been just a bit thinking exactly what you said, Charlie, that Sheffield Wednesday are here.
Which is fair, which is totally fair. I mean, even after the game, they've ended up top. So it's not, the position that they were in compared to us, it was ours to take, really.
Holly, we got the goal on the 9th minute.
Wait, don't brush over the fact that Barry Bannan did an overhead kick.
Is that what was it?
Today.
Was that before the goal? All right. Well, he was proper on it then after his couple of games that he scored. Yeah, I did see that. I did go over.
But yes, so he did the overhead kick, which was right in front of us, which we loved. That was one of them where we were already on his feet as his leg were in air. So yeah. But the goal came from passing it out from the back. I bet Danny will go in. See? 6 or 7 passes from Beadle to the top. And it just didn't really look like us. It was fantastic. I loved it. And obviously the main man Marv. Loved it.
Was it Marv's goal or was it an own goal, Stevie, for you?
Marv's goal.
Yeah, it's gone down as an own goal. But
is it really? I've not seen that.
Yeah, it's gone down as own goal. But where I sit, and obviously the ladies had a better view, but it looked on target, and the deflection just took it away from the keeper a little bit, but it was on target, so I think that counts, doesn't it?
For me,
I think it's going to sneak in.
Yeah.
And anything that's on target is, if it's deflected but it was on target, it's the person's goal, isn't it? As far as I'm concerned, I think that, I don't know if that's the written rule, but
I think it's not far off.
Yeah, I just thought it was really slick. Everything. I'm not a massive, I'm not Liam Palmer levels when it comes to Marvin Johnson, but I've got a total respect for the player that he is and what he offers the team. And I think, as I said earlier on, I think he can be an easy target for certain people at times. I think he just, everything that he does just looks really smooth, right down to his running technique, the way that he plays the ball. There was one later on. I think there was a ball broke from a set piece from a corner, and he's ended up drilling one, and it didn't go in, obviously. But I turned to my mate who I sit with and literally said, in that situation, there's not one person where if the ball's dropping 20 yards out, I'd want it to drop to Marvin Johnson over anybody else, because he's got that in his locker. He's more consistent than when it comes to those sort of areas and those sort of numbers than anybody else in the team. I just think, for me, we talked about Lowe being in that position. I think he's come in, and I'd like to think now, based on that performance, we might settle on this formation now, and I think that's him. It's him at left wing back. So.
Yeah, I think they had Tom Fellows, who's quite a highly rated young winger as well, and I think the combination of Johnson and Famewo, which I'll get onto him. I am getting into being a massive Famewo fan. Absolutely, I am. We
need to revise that song, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll get it on. We'll
get on to Gaz. Get on to Gaz.
And he was very, very good. That Fellows was really good, and in the first half, there was a couple of times where we maybe got past Johnson, and like you say, Famewo covered. We'll probably come on to it later on for various reasons, but later on, as the game got on, Johnson was getting the better of him, and he did some defending right in front of where we were, and there were only one person getting to that ball, and Johnson were probably at absolute maximum to get to that ball, but he sort of got the measure of him. Probably halfway into the first half, Johnson had got the measure of that Fellows, and he was very, very good. yeah, I thought he did really well.
Yeah, it was. I think. I don't think. I don't know. But I don't think Famewa would have been the first choice at the start of the season. I think
Well, he wasn't, was he?
Well, yeah, for whatever reason, when it's probably his great form that I think, especially over the last 3 games, that I've been really impressed with him. And I think that left centre back sort of berth is, if Danny's going to keep with that, is his.
I think based on that back three, we can, and I mean this with the greatest respect to Famewa, he's not, and I think it's Holly is the one that will sort of allude to the fact that he's not the quickest, and he runs with his head down, and he toils a little bit when he's chasing back. I think the 3 at the back offers him a little bit more. I don't think he's going to get much time as a centre half in a 4, and he's not the answer at left back. But I think if we're going to play 3 at the back as a left side, he's the one that offers the most balance, doesn't he? We've got that insurance of a Ihekwe or a Bernard in there, and that as you said earlier on, him and Johnson dealing with fellows was who, by the way, we did the hello from the other side last week. Apparently Southampton bid 20 million for him, and they've turned that down. So that's the sort of level of player that we've dealt with on Saturday. Yeah, for me, Famewa, the left side of a back 3, I think is primed. I think that's absolutely his position. That he's made it his own. So if we play that formation, that's for him to sort of keep.
Nat's put a comment on. Does Bernard come back in?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, the quality of Bernard is.
But not for Palmer.
So we got the start, 9th minute, the start that we really did deserve and what we've wanted for, especially like we said, mentioned a top of the table team. We had a lot of possession, a lot more than I thought we were going to do, and then Famewa just thought, I know, I think I'll play it out from the back. We'll never have a plan B. We'll never play hoofball, and then within 3 seconds, it's in back of the goal.
Go on, Char.
Go on, Holly, go on.
Don't simplify it like it was hoofball. There was some dreamy eye-to-eye contact between him and Will.
I was going to come to that.
It wasn't a hit and hope. They give each other the eyes, and then the magic happened.
If anyone's seen, I think Danny's post-match did say he had a word with both players. He had a I think it was 10-15 minute chat with every player in the morning, and then Famewa on his post-match said the same as well, that it was his and Josh's day. They knew it, and then Josh Windasser said it's all in the eyes. So yeah, it was a hoofball, wasn't it, Charlie?
Well, no. Honestly, the whole thing happened because of where we sit. The whole thing happened in almost like slow motion for us. Like I've watched it back, and it's like bomb, but it didn't feel like that at all. It was like this beautiful, intelligent pass, and this. To me, what happened was Windass saw the ball in the air, and then loads of like numbers ran across his eyes, and he like worked out like the geometry of like the little thing, and it was just like the way it happened was just so like it was crazy. The split second that he had to kind of receive the ball, head it so cleanly over, knowing it was going to go in, it was like we were saying it was a bit like the Blackburn goal, you know, where it was like his ability to kind of like. Just measure that in his head is just like absolutely crazy. Because like a hit and hope is fair enough, and sometimes it works and you look like a genius, and a lot of the time it doesn't. Like Adam Reach, like he used to just blast it, and on the occasion it go in, you'd be like, "What a player!" And a lot of the time you'd be like, "What a shit player." But it was just fantastic, and like the keeper had so much time to realise it had gone as well. It was that, it's gone. Like it really did seem to take an age for it to go in, and yeah. Unbelievable scenes.
I also think that there's only Windass, like normally a header from there or any kind of header from that kind of ball, you'd head down really, or you'd try and chest it down or try and take it wide so make the keeper do something. But to just head it like that, like I think the view from the first camera angle on the highlights doesn't really show like what we could see. The second view is more from what we can see. And you like, it was just genius how he saw the keeper was just close enough to go over him. And like you say, the time it was in the air going towards goal, that keeper would just like, just a single tear drop from his eye.
I think Stu's being harsh here. Windass slipped and it hit his bonds. Nobody can tell me.
No way. We thought that he was going to chest it down. Like we said, like any other player instinctively would have been like, get it under control, see what you can do. And he was just like, no, straight
It
over.
was quite far away. Was it on the edge of the box?
Yeah.
Where was it?
It was definitely outside the area. It was definitely outside the area. I think Stu's missed out the little fishing, the little fishing rod with a fish on the end on that one. Because I think
I'll fight you, Stu.
Can we just do a quick sidebar and mention Lenny? And he's there.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can make us all jealous as hell.
My God! So, friend of the show, and he's a mate, Ben Leonard. He's been on the My Wednesday before, and he's part of the Last Man Standing. Really good bloke. Sorry,
and if you didn't know, it was the guy at Covent Garden with the masks.
Yeah, the guy with the mask at Covent Garden. He's a big Wednesday eye, bless him. He's in the Last Man Standing chat, and at about 3:20 posted his bet, and for some reason he's taken it upon himself, and I don't know. I've got to ask him this. He's taken it upon himself on Saturday to put a £1 bet on on Josh Windass to score with a header. And then the add-on was that he's going to score with a header from outside the box. So he's put £1 on and won £1,000.
I bet Josh Windass has only ever headed the ball twice.
Yeah.
Once at Wembley and once on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the. I mean, I've seen some bets on Twitter and stuff, but
obscene.
Obscene it was. Yeah. For me, yeah, great instinctive goal. Charlie, you mentioned the goal at Blackburn, which I think was an instinctive goal again. I think he has got that in his locker, and he has been by a host on this podcast. He's been accused of being lazy and not all there, but I think his footballing IQ for them 2 goals alone, I think he's a pretty smart guy. So, I mean, Stevie, going into half-time, happy, weren't we?
Yeah, obviously we were happy. It felt positive. It felt like we were. I thought we were value for winning. I'm not necessarily saying that we should have been 2-0 up, but you look at the possession stats, and I know that Ash isn't a massive stat man, but you can't get away from the fact that the stats that you can't stress about are the ones where shots on target, possession's possession, passing is passing, but we were in favour in terms of the shots on target. We're in favour in terms of the shots in total. Those sort of pivotal ones were the ones that we were on top with. It felt positive. It felt like a turning of the tide to me at half time. And I know we will obviously get onto the wobble that we had. But I certainly felt that it was a game where we were potentially going to go and kick on and make a statement. This league, what I will say is this league's it's batshit crazy. You can look at the results that have come through, and without wanting to get ahead of ourselves, I think what we can say tonight is that it's far too early to start worrying about who we're beating and who we're losing to, because other teams are winning and losing, against each other. And let's give it a bit of time. Let's let the dust settle. The transfers that have come and gone, let them drop out, and let's see where we are in sort of 6-8 weeks' time.
Well, I have to say I completely disagree with you, Steve.
Of course you do.
It's usually me. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this. Oh, then Alan.
I thought that Beadle was really good. I know, there was probably maybe 4 saves in the game, but a couple, there was a one-on-one with him was that in the first half?
Yeah, the one where he got smashed and he spread himself.
He saved it, and I just and I just thought at halftime, I thought this is going to be a long 45 minutes now to protect this 2-0. I really did think it was. I've aged about 10 years just from that second half. I need to go to where Dan is.
I just did, honestly. I did. I thought the first half display. I thought we were. I'm not saying we were dominated. I just felt that it was a marked improvement, and we're talking about where we were. Obviously, to this day, I've not seen anything of the Millwall game. I refuse to watch that. But the Sunderland game was hard. The Leeds game was hard, and in terms of performances, I just think from the other games that I've seen, we're kind of back in that situation where we're starting to go up and up and up again. In my opinion, I thought we were mixing it with a team that, as we've said, were top of the league. They'd scored 10, I think it was, and only conceded 2. They'd won 5 out of 6, drawn the other one. They were the form side. For me, we looked the part against them.
Yeah, we did. The second half for me was like it not quite chalk and cheese. I just think that the 2-0 lead, I think we just sat on that a little bit. I think we didn't have the pressing that we did in the first half. And if that's it, look, if that's, we've said it for weeks and weeks, if that's the way Danny wants to play, they get their instruction from the manager. I'm all in for it. I am. It just seemed that we were back 15, 20 yards further back. And it just let them just have a bit more of the possession and build from. And then obviously we come up. We had a couple of chances.
I don't know if that were us, or like when they came out for the second half, 10 of their players were in our half, all 10 of them. Like straight away, they brought Moa on, who made a huge difference. Like a huge difference. He was their Barry Bannan.
Yeah,
like he was absolutely like so good. Absolutely ran it. And like I say, they had all of their players in our half. So people are complaining a little bit about like Ugbo, who I thought was actually battled well in the first half, and then the second half were a bit
absent.
But
we'll talk about, because there was some on social media about it. I think he made 12 touches in the first half. Not first half, all game until he come off. But I thought he put himself about a bit. It did look a little bit slow and a bit thing, but I had no complaints really. I mean,
I think it was a bit deep. At first half, he dropped a bit deep, and then it was almost like second half. They said, "Right, stop doing that. Stay up front." And then obviously we didn't really get it up front because they were on the attack the whole time. So it depends on what he's been told to do, I guess. I don't think it was that bad.
I think we should have expected what was going to come in the second half as well, because they looked shell-shocked in first half, because they wouldn't have predicted that they were going to be 2-0 down, and they didn't really create anything at first half. And then it was that kind of like, they're going to take half time to really kind of be like, right, we're getting big guns out now, kind of thing. And I think we broadly dealt well with that. We didn't fall to pieces. My biggest fear was we were going to concede that first goal in the first 5 minutes, and it was going to be like, oh God, it's all gone kind of thing. Like I was really worried about it. And I think we held up, but there were elements of resting on our laurels. And I think it's easy to blame individual players. I think mostly their first goal was coming. Like it was a bit like we just started looking that bit slower, that little bit backtracky, that little bit panicky. And I think that's all they needed to get their mentality kind of switched on a little bit. It was, we were saying it was like the minutes were going by so slowly at that point. Like the football had become really nervy for us. And while I wouldn't say we completely fell apart or anything like that, because we've seen what happens when we completely fall apart, you end up 4-0 down to bloody Millwall. I would say that it started to look more like in one team's favour than the other, and that were a bit airy. I didn't like that.
I think it was obviously the substitution was made after 61 minutes. Lowe came on, and they scored 64th.
I was absolutely gutted about that goal, because, like I said earlier, Johnson, just before that substitution, had just done a brilliant bit of defending right in front of us against that fellows. He absolutely had him. And then we substituted him. I just thought, it's taken Johnson maybe like 10, 15 minutes to get a handle on this guy. Yeah. So then you're bringing someone else into that position. And it was the first attack down that side. And you could tell from the way the play panned out before that, it was coming this way. And I don't really want to blame Lowe, but if you watch it, he turns away from him.
Yeah.
And then by the time he's turned to face him, he's already gone. And why would you, when you've seen, like, he's on the bench, he's watching what's panning out. He knows what position he's going to play when he comes on. So he should have been aware of the fact that they're going to go down that side. And he turns his back. Why is he showing him his number? Why is he showing him his number? I don't claim to be the best defender ever, but I don't want him to know what my number is. And it was just gutting. And obviously, I know a lot of people don't like him for the reasons that we said before. But for that to happen, and I know Craig said earlier it might be a mentality thing, but like he doesn't even really press him with any intent. Once he gets there, he's just like, he doesn't really stand people up well. And I'm not, to move on to a bit later, I'm not going to absolutely lambast the guy because they had 2 chances very late on at 2-2, and he headed the ball away. So, but for that particular incident, it were a bit of unlucky and a bit of his fault, I think.
He's not a bruiser, is he? Like, I think Marv's quite physical, and I think there was a nice bit before he went off, actually. I think it probably even the bit you're talking about, where he pretty much barged the guy. Like, he was so on him, even to the point where once the ball had gone out, he just kind of like patted the guy on the shoulder as though to be like, you know, like it had almost got to that point where it was a bit, whereas I feel like Lowe doesn't perhaps have that same kind of aggression to him. Maybe aggression's a bit strong, but like
nasty streak.
Well, I think sometimes you want someone to be like, no, like a big walking no, you know, where it's like, you are not getting past me. And it's not about being the biggest guy or anything like that, but it's like using their physicality. I feel like Marv, like the way he uses his shoulders, like he kept him out, he kept him away. Whereas like, I don't know, Lowe just had that. His body language is just totally different. Like, he's nippy, like he was fairly involved, but he was getting a bit bullied off the ball, and I think that does make you very nervy, particularly down that side. It was
put it this way: the Famewo yellow card definitely was a yellow card, and that we're in the exact same place. It just went bang, get in the stand.
Yeah,
do that if you're going to do anything.
Yeah, we'd rather take our chances with one of our famous set piece bit of defenders that we love to do. But like to a certain extent, like at least he's got that instinct of like, get the bastard away, rather than just being like, oh sorry, oh crap, oh it's gone, oh no, now they've got, you know, it was a bit of a gut punch, that goal, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Chef Cam's been on fullback's primary job, stop the cross. There you go.
I actually shouted that. I said, don't let him put it in. And then he just went, whoop. Oh. I specifically said.
65th minute, 2-1. Stephen, what's your thoughts? Did you have that dread? Did you have that, what is it called? The Wednesday way? Is it the thing? Because we'll get onto it after about what Danny's comments in the post-match. But did you see that the second goal was going to come straight? This is straight after the first. So what's your initial thoughts on that? Because for me, it was that's it now. They've got one. I'm going to get 2 and 3. Negative.
Initial thoughts were, Christ, we've gone 2-0 up and we've looked steady. My absolute initial thoughts were, we can afford to concede one. Let's just not concede another. We've done enough this afternoon to make sure that we take the 3 points. But the second goal went in. I'll be honest with you. When the second goal went in, I was twitching, and I fully anticipated the collapse that we've seen so many times. We saw last week. I'm glad that didn't happen. As I've said before, I think we were valued for the win at the end of the day, but because we've gone 4 or 5 games in the league without winning a game, you kind of go to that point, don't you, where you're sort of thinking the world's against us, it's conspiring against us not to get the outcome that we're worth, because that's happened over the last 2 games. So for me, a 2-1, hold on, but then they go and get another, don't they?
Which is the ref's fault. It was the ref's
I don't think it was a foul. I just think
I
just don't think it were a foul at all. And actually, I think Marv caught his edge of the box side volley a bit better than Mowatt's. It just bounced. It were a more loopy one, wasn't it? So it went over the middle, but
should Beadle done better?
I think it's a really hard one to say of that. How many of them have loads because we miss loads of chances, but how many of them have we seen where it goes or it goes over or it gets saved? It's gone. By the time he gets there, it's gone. Like, he might have been able to pull off a worldly save to get it, but I really do think like the power and the angle of it and the way that it bounced, like, I think it was in. And like, I'm not even really cross about that goal. Like, the nature of conceding that one was we'd actually knocked it back before he'd done that. What was frustrating is I really don't feel that they deserve the free kick that led to the throw in that led to that goal. Like, I do. That's the frustration all the time. If we have our pants down, our pants are down. But when the ref's pulling them down, that's very different. And it really pisses me off because I do not think in that moment that they deserved that chance to get it.
And it was a foul throw as well.
Oh my God, he was practically in front of us at that point. He was practically at the flipping post by the time he'd walked on. But of course, nothing like that ever goes for us. No one ever sees that. If that had been us, it'd have been a red. Like, there's no way. It's very, very frustrating.
You could feel it when the second goal went in, especially around me in the cop. I sit a bit further back than you ladies, but you could feel it. You know, it was here we go again, Tab. Even though it was the 84th minute they scored, but then Max Lowe redeems himself with what can only be described as a great through ball to Bannan, who crossed it first time, and then Anthony Musaba gets his first of the season.
If you look at where Bannan is when Lowe has the ball to where the ball goes and where Bannan runs onto, his movement is absolutely immaculate. Sorry, Stevie, I put it in there, but his movement is absolutely immaculate.
No, just a quick. We sort of disagreed. I think me and Ash disagreed on the second goal. I don't think he could have done much more than that. It was a miss hit. He smashed it into the ground. It's just looped up. None of us are goalkeepers, although Ash is quite tasty. I think the little bits I've seen him playing in goal, he's better than me. But from my point of view, I wouldn't allocate any blame with Beadle. It was, he's seeing that late potentially. There's a lot of traffic in front of him. Mowatt's mishit it. It weren't a free kick in the first place. It's debatably a foul throw. It was one of those where the world conspires against us for the second goal, and it was just it was a frustrating situation. But to go the phase of play for us to get the third with Lowe and Bannan, for me, glorious football, absolutely beautiful football, absolutely sexy, incredible. Loved it.
Ooh, sexy ball.
Sexy, incredible football involving Barry Bannan and Max Lowe.
And Michael Smith as well. He laid it back off to him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ball came in. Bannan picked it up. Great passage of play. But for what with, I know Holly didn't really single him out, but did comment on Max Lowe that it's only right to give him props as well, isn't it? Which that's it. It was a great pass and first time, and Masaba was there.
We can give Lowe the props. I said, and jokes aside, I think Bannon's quite unlucky not to be in and around a shout for man of the match on Saturday. I'll say that, and I know that might be controversial.
But you lot put him down for him, so don't blame.
I put Bannan. I said I put my weekly Palmer. I put
which by everyone just gets laughed at because he was at fault for the first goal as well. So I didn't mention that earlier.
I'm so hyped up. I couldn't even pick a single player. I just loved them all. Yeah. I've never doubted them. I always thought they were great.
I think what I liked about Bannan on Saturday was, he's done the bits that are going to grab the headlines, but when we're out of possession, there was just something about him. He runs his blood to water. You can just see, and I'll say this, you can just see that he cares about Sheffield Wednesday. It hurts him when we concede. It upsets him. When we're not, when we're not at it, he's bothered. And it's not just a cliche. He's not doing it for the headlines or anything like that. Barry Bannan loves the club. He wants us to be as successful as we possibly can. And when when you see him running back into the right back position to challenge, or you see him putting in those last ditch challenges, he is going the extra yard that other players don't. And I'm not saying that they don't because they don't want to. I just think that he's got a little bit more within him that shows that he does it because he can, because he cares. So
what I've noticed, Steve, is that I think he's always had that, but he's been a bit petulant sometimes.
Yes.
He's been a bit thing. But I think in the last 18 months, maybe since Danny, I don't think he's had that. He's run round not like a headless chicken, which I think sometimes I've said he has done. He has before, but I think the 2 challenges he put in on Saturday were measured. Yes, they were hard. They were in there. He took the ball. I think he got the man on one of them, but it wasn't a foul. He'd done it. Where before he's gone in, got a yellow card for a stupid, petulant tackle.
A bit angry.
Yeah. But actually, it were a bit stupid. And I don't think we've seen that. And hopefully we don't.
I think my friend came for the first time ever, came to Hillsborough. Not a massive football fan, but he brought his dad. And he said afterwards, he was like, your captain yells at everyone all the time. That little one, he shouts at everyone all the time. And I was like, well, good, because usually they're doing something shite, so that's probably quite a good thing. But it's funny you said it, because I thought, well, he does, but it's not what it looks like. Do you know what I mean? He's got that like passion, and but he does kind of, he sees the whole game, doesn't he? Like he's always sort of like thinking about where everybody else is. He's kind of like your man on the ground with that. And I think when things are going to shit, you can imagine how not positively you might take that. Like I think as a player, you might really get blog on about that. But I think actually what he also is very good at is he's always the first player to like congratulate someone when it's gone. Like he's always like, when Masaba scored, Bannan's there pointing at him. Like he cares so much that it just all kind of comes out a little bit. And I think when we're on the up, that passion sends us into the next level. But sometimes when we're on the down, not as much. But he did show that gut punch of a second goal, which, like, let's be honest, at like 80-something minutes felt like the nail in the coffin. Like it really did feel like game over. To not then go and lose all that and to keep that energy level up is unbelievable. And someone just said a comment, like at his age as well, like for him to still have that level of that fitness and like mentally to be able to plot out his movements like that is just unbelievable. No one's doing it like he is. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Stu's just say he allows others to take control of situations more, picks his battles much better. In that respect, he's much more intelligent and mindful of his age, managing himself through 90 minutes.
The part of it, though, I think he played really well in that second half. When they brought Moa on, it was almost like they were both very similar. It was like that Spider-Man where they both looked at each other like, and then when Moa scored, it was like Bannan's go, all right then, because those tackles you were saying, Ash, they were on Moa, and he did a couple of really robust ones on Bannan, and they sort of like had quite a good battle. And then it was like every time Moa pinged a good ball, then Bannan did it straight after, and it was like they were like, maybe it raised his game that he was against another similar player. Moa's injured quite a lot, and similarly doesn't really have the pace to run around quite a lot, so he has to rely on his delivery and stuff. So I wonder if that sort of kept Bannan's head on. Instead of him getting frustrated that people weren't doing what he wanted, he sort of thought, right, well, we'll see what I can do compared to that. I thought that was one of Bannan's best games this season, definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So obviously West Brom went away from S6 with 0 points. We took the 3 points home. Fantastic game. So I mentioned earlier about Danny's post-match chat with the media, and he did mention about the atmosphere. So I don't know if you guys have seen this. He mentioned about the atmosphere at 2-0 up. Was a bit flat, shall we say? He wasn't having a go at the fans. I'm sure it wasn't like that, but in the height of media and stuff, it's gone out there that people have made commentaries. So I just want to get your thoughts on it. For me, yeah, it's a hard one. Hillsborough, some nights and some games, it's been the best place on earth. But 2-0 up, I did feel that it was a bit flat. But what Holly, you're in the thick of it.
Well, I think that's an example of where stats tell a different story. Yes, it was 2-0. So you think, oh, they're 2-0 up against the top of the league. All of their players were in our half.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to lie. Part of that bad atmosphere were me going, oh my God,
Yeah.
we've got 45 minutes to hold on. So yes, it was me. It was me, Danny. I admit it. I'm not going to sit there singing when I think we're about to concede and lose the game. Everybody was tetchy. You could feel it. You could feel it, especially like Stevie says, when that first goal went in, everybody was gripping the chair for dear life, asking for some kind of divine intervention. So you were not going to keep singing at that point. Once we scored the winner, it was very, very, very loud. It was very loud at the front. But I can't. Danny's asking for something that I cannot provide, I'm afraid. I can't sit there and cheer him when I am petrified.
Yeah.
Stu's has said it. I think we all thought we'd fuck it up. It was a nervous atmosphere. Do you agree with that, guys? Charlie?
We're traumatized, like, to a certain extent, because if not last season, season before, season we got promoted, we went on such a winning streak that playing football was fun. And so we were just, and it all got quite leery. And I think generally Hillsborough's atmosphere can be a bit muted sometimes. And I'm always very defensive in that I think people are allowed to enjoy the football in any way they wish. We don't always have to be. I know a lot of European, like other like European clubs, like there's this thing of like, you know, you sing throughout the entire game. Some of us have got asthma, some of us are tired, some of us find a 12:30 start quite early in the morning. So I'm not going to sing the entire game, but there's an element of like, well, wave my scarf, rub my arm, wave my other scarf, like, change arms.
You haven't had your 8 pints at 12:30 though, Charlie.
Exactly. I'd only had my 4 pints, so I weren't really feeling it. But I think there is an element of we're still a bit battered and bruised from last season. So everyone's first instinct was 2-0. We're going to fuck that up. And I think you could feel that. Like, we want to be happy. We're happy when the goal goes in. Then after that, we're like, because all I kept thinking is, God, isn't it such a long rest of the match to go? Like, it's such a long time to hold it on and da-da-da. And I think it was a little bit like Wembley was like that. Like, we were so loud early on at Wembley, and then it started petering off after a bit because the longer it went without a goal, everyone just got nervous and it got tense and it got, you know, and it was still noisy, but it wasn't as noisy as you might expect in places. And I also think Danny was being a bit tongue in cheek as well. He wasn't actively being like, oh God, how can you be like this? But I think, you know, it's a fair comment, but I think he just needs to understand where we're coming from. He wasn't here this time last year. Like, if we'd have been 3-0 up, I do think things would have been different. If we'd have been 3-0 up in like 75th minute, things might have been different. But even then,
7-0 up on 89 minutes, I might have just celebrated before end of game.
Yeah, it's like my dad always says, I don't celebrate until we're 3-0 up. It's 20 minutes since the matches, and I'm halfway up Perry's Road. Like that's when I'll nap it. And it's like, yeah, it's exactly it. I've
got a lot of. I've meant to say this for a couple of weeks when I've been on, but I don't. Probably this is probably going to get not me cancelled, but probably thing. But I'm going to say it anyway. I can't get on board playing. Excuse me, Daddy Cool before a game. I can't get on board it. They've played Daddy. I don't. I think it should be.
Why? Game. Good question, Holly. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't. I think when we've won, I think when he's won, he's walking around the pitch and he's blaring out. But at the beginning, I'm not on it. So, but there we go. Steve, where are you with the atmosphere type thing? I know because we're all copites. We're in the cheap seats. You're in the expensive ones. What's there's no atmosphere there, so I don't know why I'm asking you.
There's not been atmosphere this season since that idiot behind me's left. Anyway, if I'm honest, in all seriousness, I'd agree with everything that Charlie said, and probably just caveat it with not necessarily a last season hangover, but a last 3-4 games hangover. And I think we started the season with that win against Wayne Rooney's Plymouth, and everybody thought, based on the positivity around pre-season, that we were going to sort of kick on and we were going to beat Millwall and we were going to compete against Sunderland and we were going to compete against Leeds, and you know that hasn't happened. So it became a little bit of a thing where we've become quite nervous. If we got something out of the Millwall game, I'm not saying that we had to win every game. If we got something out of the Millwall game, and even though they're up there, probably the Sunderland game, if we'd have gone to Sunderland and got a draw, I think it's a different story. I think the atmosphere is different because our expectations are probably going to be a little bit higher. And we'd expect to be able to beat or compete with West Brom. And I think the fact that we've maybe not capitulated, but we've ended up dropping points in the circumstances that we've dropped them. It wasn't necessarily a lack of atmosphere, but almost a desperation to get the 3 points. And any way that we can get those 3 points on Saturday is a bonus. And if we can kick on now and go and be positive tomorrow, Wednesday night, forgive me, and then do the same again on Saturday against Coventry. If we get 4 or 6 points out of the next 2 games, the first game back at Hillsborough, you watch it, the place will be rocking again.
There were a point in the game where they put a ball into box and I kicked my leg to defend it like you do. And I kicked Charlie and she said, thank God you did that because I was holding my breath. So I don't know how Danny wants to sing while she's not even breathing.
She's going to kick me in the head, I want to notice all that.
On what I just said, Tom's made a good point. We need more songs for spurring on the players when they do well, not the manager. Do we need new songs for players? Are we on board with that? It's Biggie.
I like,
we
need
Robinson.
Creative ones. Yeah, we need because we've not always got a lot to work with. We need people with really obvious names that go with really obvious songs because people put really wonderfully creative things on Twitter, but they're like really convoluted sometimes, like really complex in like to the tune of Beethoven's Fifth, and you're just like, oh God, no one's gonna sing that. Like, yeah, we need some players with really, really basic names.
That's just John in the group chat.
Yeah, John, no one's ever heard of that song.
John does the little voice note. So if, obviously anyone watching, John sends some cracking voice notes. I'll out him. He's not the best singer, but it makes me smile. It makes me smile.
The enthusiasm is there, which is all we can ask.
Yeah. So Stevie mentioned it. We move on to Bristol Wednesday, and then we've got Coventry again. Seems like Coventry.
Bristol again. Wednesday is our new team.
Bristol Wednesday. Bristol's all right. Bristol City. Bristol Wednesday. Yeah. No, I was just saying the whole fixture. Bristol Wednesday. That was I was doing that on Wednesday, and then Coventry City. 2 away games. So we're going to have 3 games in 7 days. Not easy. I'm sure there's going to be some rotation. Just quickly, I know it's thing. Charlie, how are you feeling about? Obviously, it's a long way to Bristol and then Coventry. Your thoughts on the 2 games coming up?
I don't want to talk about Coventry. It's just I can't believe we're playing them again so soon. But yeah, on Wednesday, I think based on how we've just played against a team that losing to us has still ended up with them being top of the table, I think we can take a game to anybody. And I think if we've got our heads screwed on right, I think we're on for a win. It would be really nice to keep that positivity going. I'll settle just for a good game away. But obviously the relentless positivity. I'm saying 2-0. 2-0 to Wednesday.
Holly. Bristol City come up. They've just got their stats up. 1-2, drawn 2, lost 2.
I was just about to say, I feel like when I've been looking out for the scores, they've been really mixed. I was going to say we've been mixed. We haven't. We've just been shite. But they've beaten some good teams. They've lost to some, they've been a really, really mixed bag. And I think Coventry are below us. So, I mean, what's that about? I don't know, because the closer it gets to the game, the more optimistic I get, and I'm not gonna. I can't say because I want to beat Stevie on the predictions thing. Let's go for 2 wins, shall we? Why not?
Yeah,
we're gonna win the league.
We've had Glenn, who's a regular contributor, has been on. He said, "Hi guys, you'll get your first away win on Saturday versus Cov if you don't beat Bristol City."
Glenn's like the ghost of Christmas past.
Do you agree, Stevie? Are we destined for one of these games? Win both, win one. Would you take 4 points? I'm sure you would.
I'd bite your hands off for 4 points right now. I'd take 4 points right now in a heartbeat. Having said that, if we can go and put in a strong performance and get 3 points on Wednesday night, I can very well see us winning on Saturday as well. I've never been to Coventry, to the Coventry ground. I'm looking forward to taking a little one. It's been a while since we've done an away game, so me and Moll are going to trek down and see what.
I promise you, one visit will be enough. You won't have to go back.
Yeah, I'd have loved just a quick one. I'd have loved to have made Bristol City, but a Wednesday night. What are we talking? Probably an 8-hour round trip, near enough. For a school teacher that's got to be up and on duty at 7 o'clock the next morning is I'll admit that it's one that I probably could have got to that I'm not going to get to this time.
I was all on for going, and then my work have decided to change my plans without me knowing. So that's good of them. So I'm not going to go now, unfortunately, because Bristol's a ground. Bristol City, should I say? Sorry, if people called us Sheffield, I'd feel the same. So apologies. It's a ground I haven't been to, so I'd have loved to have gone. That's the football over and done with. Has any of you guys got any other business? Well, believe. Go on then, Stevie. You can go first. I know what you're probably going to say.
What am I going to say?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, you don't. No, I'm going to leave it.
Oh no, you can't do that to everybody. The hundreds that are watching on various things. So I have something. You may or may not have seen that earlier on this year we did an Easter egg drop, and for that we had the opportunity, and you guys helped massively with donating eggs to a couple of local Sheffield charities, the Sheffield Children's Hospital and Pact. So what we're doing is Pact. We are going to be launching a donation station. So if anyone on the screen can see, so what we are going to be asking for, massive help if possible, is Pact have asked if we could help with donating shampoos, shower gel, deodorants, flannels, toothbrushes, toothpaste, pocket tissues, things like that, for what it is for their welcome packs. So for anyone that don't know, Pact help families with children with cancer. And what they do is put together welcome packs for any family that registered with them for a child, one of their children that's been diagnosed. And it's all the essential things that parents would need in the first few weeks of obviously diagnosis, because I'm sure that's the last thing on their mind that they want to go shopping. So we're going to be putting up donation stations all around. We're going to be asking for people to hopefully set up their own at work. I know Charlie's going to put a little basket at work, and I am too, for anyone who can just donate whatever they can, any sorts of, like I said, deodorants and shower gels and things like that, that we're going to donate to Pact to help families that obviously are going through a bit of a tough time. So we will be, as we do, spam you on all the social medias with everything. We just really appreciate it if anyone wants to get in touch with us, that want to set up a donation station, we'll help. Any businesses or anything like that feel that they can help us. It's going to start on the Burnley game. So the Sheffield Wednesday have kindly said we can set one up in the mega store. So if you take I don't know, Lynx or a Dove or anything with you and just drop off in the mega store, there'll be somewhere there for it. So any help would be massively. Stevie in the room.
Question, Mr. Rogers, sir. So if I'm wanting to get involved, and I know it's not necessarily the time of the year, but somebody's potentially given me a stocking filler that's been at the back of my bathroom cupboard for the last 6-8 months or whatever, I could just go pick that up and take it down and drop it in. Yeah. So yes, I don't need to go and buy anything. I don't need to. Obviously, we're looking for stuff that's not been opened. It's unused, but it's sitting dormant on somebody's, because we've all got them. We'll all have tubs and tubes and bottles and little bits that are going to be, one man's trash is another man's treasure sort of thing. If we've got something that we can't make use of, that in this situation somebody else can, and they'd be willing to just stick it in their match day bag and then just come along to the mega store and drop it in there, or once we've got these stations out and about and we can sort of tell people where they are, they can come in there and just sort of donate them.
Donate.
Please remember before the game, don't take aerosols into the ground and say the way we told you to do it.
It'll be at the mega store. I just thought it was an easier thing for
I've got loads of shampoo that I no longer need anymore. Like I say, anyone wants to get in touch, DM us on any of our social medias and emails.
and we can set up. And I'm more than happy to come and collect any donations you pick up. So don't feel like
we need to fill Ash's house with toothpaste this time. It was Easter eggs before. Now we need floor to ceiling toothpaste and socks. That's the main aim.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, shampoo and all that. Yeah, but please, thank you very much for that. That's fantastic. Right, we're getting there, aren't we? I think I think it would be. I don't think it'd be good of me if I didn't mention that. Please vote for us in the FCA Awards. Please, that'd be great. If you've liked what we do, if you've interacted with us, or if you just think I'm going to vote for them to shut them up, whatever. It's been a massive honour to be nominated, and it's something that we love doing.
How do we vote? Remind me how we vote. I can't remember.
There's links all over our social media. You go on, follow the link, drop down to Best Club Content Creator Football League, and second to bottom there's the Wednesday week. So
and how long does it take? How long does it take?
It's like we've rehearsed this, Steve. It takes less than 30 seconds, my good man. 3 clicks, something like that.
You might as well vote for us because the others aren't Wednesday anyway. So
exactly. We're going to win something. We're going to win something, aren't we? Hopefully, anyway.
And there's a Rotherham one in there, isn't there?
Yeah, Matt and the boys from
guys, come on.
We want to be beating Rotherham. If Rotherham beat us, I'm out. I'm done.
Don't say that, Stevie. They might want
Yeah.
that.
Based on tonight, we probably do.
Guys, fantastic. That's show 430. Baggies Bounceback is done, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you very much.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week, bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there, podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your podcast.